Hello everybody, it's been a while now, hasn't it? We are doing some Pokemon vids, some commentary on some matches. I think the last time we did videos was like before Worlds, maybe?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I think it was actually even before National.
Alright, well I'm joined with the lovely Julia. Hello.
Hello.
Yep. And let's see, since the Worlds, this is a new season. We've lost 3 expansion sets. We've gained 2. The most recent one just came out like last week. And like a lot of season changes, we have new rules as well in the game. You want to go over some of them, Julia?
Yeah, I think a couple of the big ones. Any championship that's city and up is now best of 3.
Okay.
And they also introduced ties. But as for like basic card rules, Pokemon Catcher, which is a staple in pretty much every single deck, was errated. So now essentially the card, you can still use the old card, but the ruling has changed. So now you have to flip, or essentially roll a dice, or flip a coin, to determine whether or not it actually follows through with the effect. Versus just being able to catcher and switch to bench Pokemon, now you actually have to flip for it, essentially, which should bring it down to 50-50, but some people would say that it's like 0 heads, like all tails.
Oh, if it was me, it'd be 0 heads. If it's my opponents, they'll be flipping all heads
every
all day.
Time,
yeah, every single time. There's also the beginning of turn changes as well, so before you even set up, you do your coin flip, and you decide whether you're going to go first before you even see your opening hand, which is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, during this competition, I saw so many people start drawing their hands and go, oh wait, we're supposed to roll first.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to change how I draw my hand out, you know.
Exactly. So that's the thing is, yeah, no one really tells. But I guess it's supposed to determine, I guess, so you don't always necessarily promote a Pokemon without knowing if you're going first or not. So I guess it's actually a little different, because essentially the only difference, I guess, about rolling first rather than after is you don't know what your hand is yet. You don't know if you necessarily, but usually you want to go first anyways, but,
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the other one, too, is now you can no longer attack on your first turn.
That's right.
So that's a big one. That's why now you can choose who goes first, versus if you win the coin flip, you go first. Now you can choose who goes first, but again, this is before you see your hand. But that's why Tropical Beach has become an amazing card, because now that you can no longer attack, you can't use Junk Hunt, you can't use Call for Family. A lot of the setup attacks, you can't use. Same thing with decks like Plasma, who are Kyurem, you want to attack with them, like first turn is amazing. Now it can't unless you go second. Second player, or second turn, so the player that goes second, essentially, can attack, just the player that goes first cannot. And that's why Tropical Beach is so good, because you can just Tropical Beach your hand up to 7 and end your turn. So that's why they're crazy expensive.
All right, let's jump right into the match then, and we'll repeat these new rules as we go along, if necessary. This is the top 8 match. This was a testing tournament that that was hosted by, I think, Ricky Gao.
Yeah, Ricky and Core. I think it was more hosted by Ricky, as far as I can tell, but I know Ricky and Core both donated prizes, as well as CJ donated some as well.
All right. This is the top 8 after the Swiss, and it's between Hanseam, does someone say Handsome Park on the left here?
Yeah.
And we have Kyle S. I can never pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try, on the right side. Sam's playing Gothitelle Magnezone, which is a really, really interesting deck, and Kyle is playing Virizion Genesect, which is a very typical deck. All right, let's do the 3, 2, 1. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Click. So they're doing the coin flip right now to determine who gets to go first before they even draw. But yeah.
I remember this. So I remember watching this. They didn't have dice, so he went off to go get dice, and I had already handed them that little deck box over there. I was like, "You want dice?" And he already walked off. And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, okay. But yeah, Gothitelle with the recent set is back in format. It got rotated out at the start of the season, but the most recent set reprinted the card, brought it back in. So we do have Trainer Lock. But the interesting thing is that Genesect has the ability Red Signal that allows you to have to pull Pokemon from the bench, which means he can get around that trainer lock, because Gothitelle has to be active in order to lock trainer cards. And if Kyle's deck is anything like anybody's deck, it's gonna be about 33% trainer cards, and not being able to play a third of your deck is huge. So we see,
there's a bit of glare at this table, unfortunately, but that's a Gothitelle active, right?
Yeah, so we got a Gothitelle, we got a Magnemite on the bench here. Kyle actually starts with a Deoxy here, so it's interesting he runs a Deoxy. That's not atypical of a lot of decks. Computer search going down. Wow, tosses an N and a Juniper, and he's got something else in his hand, so he's going to play the N. So that's 3 supporters gone in the first turn. He sacked 2 of them and played the N. I'm guessing he pulled out the Beach with the computer search.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Well, since he was burning them anyways, I guess it would depend on what was in Kyle's hand right now. But I mean, he could have gone for the Juniper and gone for the 7th card since he's burning all of those anyways. I mean, I guess
it's interesting that he decided to use N instead of Juniper, unless he has something in his hand that he really, really, really wanted to keep.
Exactly. He had like the 1 card, right?
Yeah.
So that could have been the card.
But in terms of giving his opponent's card, Kyle gets essentially the same 6 cards back, so it's a no gain for him. Another level ball coming down, and I'm guessing he's going to go for the Goth? Yep, goes for the Goth. Called it. Shazam. And with so many level balls, it would not surprise me if he also runs a Jirachi in his deck in order to Jirachi for a Skyla for the Beach on the first turn. It gives him like a lot of outs, so you can get that first turn Tropical Beach. And the first turn Tropical Beach is so huge right now, being able to just basically gain cards into your hand twice per turn. Once with a supporter and once using the effect of Tropical Beach. So he's going to use Tropical Beach, draw up to 7 in his hand, and end his turn immediately.
Yeah, because he can't attack, so why not Beach? It's like the best thing you can do at the end of your turn. So.
Virizion and Genesect, the 2 cards that give this archetype the name Virgin.
Yeah.
Make sure you spell that correctly.
G-E-N, not G-I-N.
Yeah. But that is the dangerous combo right now, and both those cards came out in the first set that we got in the new season, so there's a lot of hype around it for sure, and a lot of build-up.
We saw, Grass Energy and then Colorless Machine. If he's got a switch, if you're going second, that's what you want, right? You want to be able to load that up, because Virizian's attack does, for 1 Grass, 1 Colorless, does 50, and then you can take 2 Grass out of your deck and attach to 1 bench Pokemon, right? Yeah.
Yes. But he's not going to be able to get off his first attack unless he's got a badge and a switch. So he's going to go.
That is true. Yes. I just saw him attach to Genesect. Yeah.
I don't think that many people are running Plasma Badge in their deck anymore. Oh, he's going to use the fancier poison counter. Sure, why not? And Kyle is going to Beach. He plays no supporter on his turn. I wonder if he actually has one, or if he had a Juniper and good stuff in his hand that he didn't want to lose. Because if he had an N, he'd play that N, because Sam had drawn up to 7, so it would reduce Sam down a card. Rare Candy goes up, so now trainers are locked, and we can see Kyle's hand a little bit there. He does have a Plasma Energy in his hand, which means if he attaches that to Genesect, he can activate that red signal ability and pull up either the Magnemite or the Gothitelle and remove that trainer lock.
Yeah. Now, of course, I don't see everything that's in Kyle's hand. I suppose another option could have been to Colorless Machine, since I guess he had the other Plasma Energy in hand, Colorless Machine to Deoxys, so that he could potentially attach if he needed to in order to retreat it if he had to, something like that. But I think at this point, because now that he's locked right, he's pretty much going to attach to Genesect. Every time I always see extra energy on a Pokemon, I'm like, could put it somewhere else too. But no,
it's not a big waste, because those energies will eventually be used for the G booster attacks anyways.
Because you have to discard, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't specify if it has to be grass. Right?
Alright, so
200 discards.
So for people who don't have it, who's fairly new to the game, The general strategy for the Virizion Genesect deck is to start with Virizion, use its attack to put more energies down on Genesect, and then use Genesect's attack for a lot of damage. Genesect gets a bonus attack when you attach a tool called the G-Booster to it, and it can basically one-hit KO anything with that attack at the cost of 2 energies that it has to discard. Sam's deck, it looks like, and I can't be 100% certain, but it looks like he's gonna use Floatstone on the Gothitelle, retreat for a Magnezone, and then use Gyro Ball to attack and then switch back into the Gothitelle. I would assume that he runs Bangle to give more extra damage, and he probably runs a lot of supporters in order to get advantage of that Magnezone Dual Brain ability, which lets him place 2 supporters per turn.
And for Gyro, the opponent switches as well, I believe, right?
I don't know actually. I only know if that one person switches, but if it forces your opponent to switch too, that's going to be really annoying.
Yeah.
Alright, so Grass Energy goes down on Deoxy. And that's his attachment per turn, so there's not going to be a red signal this turn. I wonder if that was wise for Kyle, but he's going to save his plasma energies, and he's going to Colress for 5 cards instead. That's an interesting play. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's so hard because I don't see what else is in his hand, right? If it
Yeah,
was like 4 supporters,
but we know he had the plasma energy. I guess what he wants to do is he probably actually just wants to use Power Connect on Deoxy and swing at that Gothitelle for weakness.
Yeah, I wonder if he runs prisms. Yeah, I haven't seen any prisms on there, so I don't know.
Oh, actually, if he doesn't have the plasma energy, it doesn't really make a difference anyways.
That's right, yeah, it won't add the 30. Well, it won't add the 30 for energy, at least.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and Gothitelle is probably not going to have energy on it. He's just using it as a wall, essentially. And I think that was a Genesect that just came down. We can't see it because of the glare, but did he not beach?
Yeah,
Kyle!
He forgot to beach.
He says go, and then he says, just that moment, like, I could have beach. And that's the problem, when you're not the guy playing down the beach, it's sometimes you forget about it, that's an option. It's like Poké Center. Somebody plays on a Poké Center, and you don't always remember that you can activate it to heal your Pokemon.
Oh yeah, there he goes. He just went like, oh, I forgot to play.
Alright, so Sam is gonna go Juniper here, and okay, you know it's interesting because he could have Skylud, unless he didn't have a candy or something. But if he had the candy or the ball to get the Magnezone, he could have Skylud first and then Junipered afterwards, using that Dual Brain ability. Would have been really interesting. Retreat and then Gyro Ball for.
So 80 base then, right? So yeah. So
is it 80 base? I thought it was 70 base. Okay.
Well, he just said 80, but then the thing is that it doesn't look like he's got a bangle, so yeah. So I'm assuming it must be 80 base, right? Oh, he's reading it.
Let me double check that. Oh, and then it does switch his opponent's. At this point, Sam's in top 8, and he's like, wait, what does my attack do again?
Yeah, what does it do again?
How did I get into top 8? I really like Sam's decks though. He's always playing something interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, he might have been reading it for Kyle, I guess, if Kyle didn't know.
Just double check who uses Magnezone. Really, it's a weird card.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that was almost like pseudo good. Like people were like, oh, just support it sounds so good, and they're like, nah, it's stage 2, like it's
But these days, now the catcher has been, ratted. It does give stage 2s a little more of a hand, especially without first turn donks too now, because no one can attack on the first turn. So that does leave a little more room for stage 2. I mean, he seems to run just, his main Pokemon are stage 2s, Gothitelle and Magnezone. So that's pretty cool. Glad to see new.
Is he playing an Ultra Ball under Trainer Lock?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right. That Sam again not realizing. I forgot what my cards do.
Exactly. It's okay. He just has to attach the plasma and Genesect first, and then then he can do all that.
It's funny. I played against Kyle. I think like 2 years ago, maybe, at a Battle Roads back when Gothitelle first came out, and so I was running Goth Ranunculus against his Reshi Typhlosion, and he might be having flashbacks here from that game. It's just that Trainer Lock.
I still remember all the games I used to play against Joey and Jonathan with the Vileplume. Oh man.
Dude, I love Vileplume. It's my favorite.
Gothitelle to the max. It was brutal.
Oh, there's the Jirachi, so I was right in that he probably plays Jirachi in his deck. But yeah, like...
When you can play 2 supporters a turn, why not, right?
That's true, actually. Well, and also to get that first turn beach, because we're talking about including the balls, including the Skylas, including all the other stuff, like, basically... every single hand you get should give you a way to get that Tropical Beach on your first turn. There should be no excuse.
Yeah, Jirachi wasn't always the greatest before, just because of catcher, because it was just pretty much an easy 2 prizes for most things. But now with catcher Rata, it's lent a lot more value to some of the other EXs and other cards.
For sure.
Now, I love his deck. It's like all these like pseudo cards. Like I love it. Like all these cards that are like kind of good, but then I don't know. There's always this downfall or this pro versus this con, and he just kind of makes it like this really cool deck. So.
And that's why it's so nice to have this kind of tournament, because people can mess around and play something for fun. So he's gonna dump another 80 damage on top of the Virizion, retreat back, and Kyle will have to switch up for something else. He probably will put, I don't know. Maybe the Genesect, and he just discards the retreat into Virizion and attack with it? No, he's going to push up the Deoxy, okay. See, if I was him, I would put up the Genesect. Then I could retreat into Virizion and get energies back on the Genesect, but...
Yeah.
Man, all that bling.
Genesect only has a 1 retreat, right?
Look at all those shiny supporters he has.
Yeah. Yeah, I told them, I was like, guys, you should have played with matte sleeves. Because the glare is terrible.
Oh, well. It's funny, like, you ever play against those people on the Pokemon online game, and they have like all full art supporters and everything like that? I was like, ugh. and then you just crush them anyways, like things like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's so funny. I open booster packs in real life, nothing good. Open booster packs online, it's like full art Juniper, full art Get. I'm like, really? Can I just own these in real life? And then sometimes I get confused, and people ask me, oh, can I, borrow this card? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And then I go, I'm like, wait, I don't own that. That's online. I do that all the time.
Oh, man, Kyle's hand is like basically 80% cards he cannot play right now with that Gothitelle Trainer Lock up in the front. And
Sam runs guesses.
Yeah, if Sam plays a Getsus, it'll be hilarious. And I don't see why not, since he can play 2 supporters a turn.
Exactly.
Getsus or Hugh would actually be hilarious.
Yeah.
But he's going to play N instead.
Exactly, because that's the one thing, too. Oh, yeah,
Kyle again forgets the Tropical Beach. Just smacks it. He's like... Oh, Kyle's a little bit off his game. It's been a long day. I think at this point the guys have been playing for about 6 hours.
Yeah, we started about 12. This was about 5.
Okay.
We started about 11:30, 12. Yeah. So this was about 5 hours, but that was 5 rounds, right? Of just out of best of 1, and then this is the top 8, which is best of 3. So. Very cool.
So Salmon's in a very excellent position right here. He is swinging for 80 every turn, and Kyle just cannot get anything going on right now. Sam actually dumps the Tool Scrapper, which is kind of interesting, but I'm assuming he feels that he can keep the pressure on here, because if Kyle drops the G-Booster somehow, either with Red Signal to pull up a Magnemite or the Jirachi, and then attaches the G-Booster, Sam will need to get rid of that using the Tool Scrapper. And then Kyle will have to Red Signal somehow magically again a second time. But I think Sam feels really comfortable at this situation. Yeah, I mean, really only...
He might also run 2 Scrappers, too. I know a lot of decks are as well, so he might feel that, 1 is enough. Once he gets rid of the G-Booster, right, it's not really coming back, so...
Yeah, so Sam's really set up. He's got 2 walls, and he's got 2 attackers. The second Magnezone almost powered up. And... 80 and 80 on the Deoxy is just 10 damage away from going down.
Yeah, see, I'm surprised I haven't seen a Bangle yet.
Maybe he doesn't run one. I mean, his deck is probably really tight, and he's probably running extra supporters to make use of that dual brain. I don't know where else he can fit stuff, so he needs the float stones, that's for sure.
Yeah. He might just, I guess, get away with the 1/1. He should run just like, oh man, Spark Dynamo. Just like pew, 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 10 damage everywhere. Yeah.
I think Spark Dynamo is, it's no longer in rotation.
It was for Noble Victories.
Okay.
So sad.
You would know exactly where the Dynamos come from. I'm having trouble keeping track of all the stupid Trubbishes from different sets. Like, where the heck is Tool Drop Trubbish from?
There was someone sitting next to me, and I think it was, yeah, CJ was playing it. Can't remember who it was, but CJ said, "Oh, you know that Trubbish is out of format, right?" He's like, "What?" Because yeah, he was using one of the older, the Noble Victories one, and
it's the one that gets you the something from your
garbage.
Yeah, the garbage collection one. Yeah, that one for sure. I know it's rotated out, but there's like another one.
What? But it was okay. It's not like he's really using it for anything else. But so he was just like, yeah, it's okay. You know, just know.
Kyle remembered to use Tropical Beach this time. Got 1 card off Tropical Beach. Excellent.
That's value for Tropical Beach.
Oh, Sam decides to attack with this Magnezone this time.
Yeah.
And is he gonna swap for the Genesect this time? Well, right now Kyle's got 3 more Plasma Energies in his deck, because he colors one of them onto the Genesect. So he has 3 chances to remove that trainer lock. But I mean, the Jirachi is a free prize, so he will probably leave that alone until he will swing at it for the last 2 prizes or something. Or if he really needs 2 prizes, he needs to get rid of those Magnezones. He's waiting for a Plasma Energy and a G Booster combination so that he can just go whah with 200 damage and knock one of those out. And then he's got to do that again.
2 seconds, sorry.
Sure. Pulls out the end here using the Skyla. So he's not going to be able to end this turn, but he will be able to end next turn. If he was using Dual Brain, he'd be able to do it again this turn.
Sorry, my doggy I'm babysitting decided to rip up a roll of toilet paper.
You should keep the bathroom closed.
I did now, yeah. I heard this like ripping sound.
Alright, so there goes the Deoxys. Sam takes first blood, 2 prizes.
Finally the Deoxys goes down.
Yeah, and now Kyle pulls up the Genesect. He needs a second Grass Energy down on it. It's gonna end, put Sam back down to 4 cards, but I think Sam at this point is probably more thankful that he's dropped down to 4 cards, puts a little bit more cards in his deck, because he's running through his deck really fast.
Yeah.
I always get a little bit antsy when I'm down to like the last 10 cards in my deck. I'm like, I don't know if I can keep this up. And due to the nature of Gyro Ball's attack, you know, it takes actually quite a long time to knock out anything, because Kyle has a choice to put up either a weakened Pokemon or something else. So it's going to put 100 there and throw 20 on... I would put on the other Goth, but okay.
Yeah. How much health does Goth have?
Goth has 130.
130.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you got two-shotted anyways, so... and Magnezone's 140, I believe, so that makes kind of a sense. Oh, here comes the Dust Snore coming up. Yeah, I didn't expect this.
That makes sense, yeah. Well, I guess you're right, because you're automatically spreading, because you have to make them switch all the time, too.
That's right. Alright, so that's what put the deck together. So I was talking about it before, because the nature of Gyro Ball allows your opponent to switch and put up anything they want, so they can eat a couple of hits and not get knocked out.
So
but
taking prizes is tough.
Yeah, Dust Snore, however... once Sam gets that set up, Dusknoir has the ability to move damage on your opponent's Pokemon, which will allow him to basically knock out anything, and also manipulate the damage so that none of the damage is going to waste. He's not trampling for no good reason. So for example, all he has to do is swap over 2 damage or 1 damage from the Genesect, and he can knock out the Virizion. But he'll probably go after and kill the Genesect instead.
Yeah, that's interesting that he... did he just beach there?
No, he Junipered. Tossing all those trainer cards that he can't use. They're worthless to him at this point.
It's interesting that he promoted the Virizion instead of the Genesect, I suppose, simply because it's gonna die. But maybe he was planning on just retreating it anyways. But he had the energy in hand because he attached it to Genesect. But I suppose he just wants to say that, yeah, he's gonna retreat it anyways. Then yeah. Yeah, I see that.
He wants to attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam's already played. If you look at his field, he's already played 3 rare candies. 1 for the Magnezone, 1 for each of the Magnezone, and 1 for one of the Goths. The second Goth he set up manually by evolution. So he has only 1 rare candy left in his deck, and we know his A-Spec is not a dowsing machine. It's just a Computer
Computer
search.
search, yeah.
Yeah. He's got... How many cards does he have left in his deck there? That looks like 8. So he's going to Super Rod and get some things back. Maybe the Gothitelle, yes. And put those back in his deck and make it a little bit thicker.
Yep.
Yeah,
I always find it funny when I have like 5 cards in deck and I'm like, you want to cut? Yeah.
And looking at that, actually, considering what we've seen him toss and what might be left in his deck, I would assume he's playing actually pretty thin lines here, like maybe 3-1-3 and 2-1-2 of Magnezone, something like that. I don't know if he plays really thick lines of stuff.
I haven't seen another Magnezone come up, so...
Or a Magnemite, so he might just be playing 2 families of that one and maybe 3 of the Gothitelle. And then the Dusknoir might just be a 101 or a 111. Meaning if any of those parts are prized, he's going to be in trouble. So he's going to float stone on the Dusknoir here, thinking ahead, or either that thinning out his hand a little bit for some reason. He's got a Max Potion. Oh, that is huge.
Yep.
All that work gone. Kyle wishing that he might have put 20 damage on the other Gothitelle at this point. But 40 on the Magnezone is no big deal either. Eventually he can red signal that Magnezone and kill it if he wants to. But those Gothitelles are definitely setting him back. I wonder if Kyle is going to make any adjustments for the next game, because all games now in Pokemon are best of 3, so you have a chance to try a different approach at dealing with people's strategy and maybe try and hope you have a harder start as well.
Oh, 3 cards left. Oh, and the Ultra.
Oh.
Does he have the rare candy?
I'm guessing he's got the rare candy. Let me just shuffle my 2 cards here.
One other card, the one last card, yep.
Oh my goodness!
Exactly what he needed, wow.
Tropical Beach, Tropical Beach.
Wow,
Tropical
so
Beach
now
for
he
them.
has to do a lot of math, right? 'Cause now he's just
I would
gotta
put
figure
all
out-
the damage from the Virizion onto the Genesect until it died. It's 80 there, so he just needs to put 100 there. That will leave 60 on the Virizion.
Oh, he was just saying you could do that. You could just add 1 damage. He's like, no.
You can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Does he want to kill the Virizion? I would say kill the Genesect. Oh, actually, no,
He wants to kill the Genesect. Yeah, he's moving the damage from the Virizion to the Genesect. He moved 1 damage because I think that's what
I
he
thought
needed.
Genesect had 180 HP.
It might. He might still move some. I think he's debating. Oh no, yeah, I know that was.
Oh, it's 170 HP. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had 180. I was under that impression, but I guess I was wrong. So that's a knockout, and that is pretty much GG. Yep, and Kyle scoops. Yeah, there's no way he can avoid getting killed on the next turn, and he has no attack. That's got to be frustrating for Kyle. He basically did nothing the entire game except manually attached, slowly powering up a couple of attacks, only to have those attacks become nothing because of that Max Potion.